Hi, my name is Michael Forrest, and today I'm going to show you how to see how your sleep affects your mood and maybe vice versa. I'm going to take sleep data from my Withings smartwatch, and I'm going to cross-reference this with data from my happiness tracking app, which is called Changes, which you can get in the App Store, and I hope you will. So this is what an average night's sleep data looks like. Not a great sleep score here, but we can go to week, we can go to month on the Withings app and sort of see how it changed over time. But if we want to really dig in, we can go into our profile and we go download your data. And then you click the button and that's going to start the process, which usually works. And then just to show you how we're going to get the changes data out, we've got my diary here. We've got an export your data button, export the CSV file, takes a second, and then once that's done, we can load that into, I just usually airdrop it to my laptop, like that, and now that's on my computer, and the other thing will be in my email. Right, so let's have a look. Here's my download from Withings. So when we go download the data, recover your data as a CSV file, that comes down, we can unzip that, and what do we get? We get this. So what have we got in here? Various CSV files, ranging activities, blah, 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 but here is sleep down here. So that's just a big spreadsheet of data. So how do we get this up? Well, let's start our first Google Sheet. So I'm just going to make a new screen, get rid of my email, and go sheets.new. Have a look at that, and we're going to upload our sheet data, this sleep data, by dragging sleep into here. We'll replace the current spreadsheet, and that comes in. Okay, so let's just have a look. So this will be in the blog post. I just kind of summarized what all these columns were, but here's the time to sleep. Here's what the light sleep, here's deep sleep, here's sort of waking hours. And what have we got? We've got like the hour we went to bed, the hour we got up, how many seconds of light sleep, how many seconds of deep sleep. REM sleep I don't seem to have any data for that, so let's just delete that column. Number of times I woke up in the night there, how long it took to get to sleep, how long it took to wake up. This snoring column seems to be empty, so let's just get rid of that. Average heart rate stuff, snoring episodes, obviously get rid of that as well. So we've got our sleep tab. So let's just call this happiness sleep. And now let's drag up my changes data. So we're also going to import, upload. Let me just find it, changes, insert a new sheet. And this gives me the changes data again with like date, ratings, is it starred, what's the score, we've got our mood trend line, sensitive. The first thing we're going to do is just get rid of everything. Let's see where this comes. So I've got from July 2018, so let's just delete everything that's before 2018. Right, we need to consolidate this data. So let me just put this, say happiness is here, sleep is here. So I want to think about, what does my happiness look like after a night's sleep of different quality? So on this sleep page, we just want to know how many hours we slept and what time we got up. So let's keep it quite simple. But first we need to turn these dates into something we can use. So to do that, I am going to just do a little bit of data cleanup on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a find and replace. So this date format, we're just going to take out the T and we're going to take off this time zone suffix. So if we just search for T, replace all of those with a space in that column. And then the, you see we've also got rid of the T from 2. But we'll also do a find and replace. And you don't have to understand this, but regular expressions are a fancy way of doing searches. And I figured out that if I do this search, replace that with nothing, now we have, it's recognized as a date. We're taking the to date. So this is the morning, the date of the morning. So I'm just going to make another column, which is just going to have the date in it. And the easiest way to do that is just to format this as a date, go to text on that, fill that down with Command D or Control D. Then we copy these values. And then if we do a little paste special now, paste values only, now we have like a clean date field, because these will still have the stuff in it, even though it's presenting it differently. So just to avoid confusion, we will put that format back to date and time, and we will format this number as the date. So this is wake up date. And then let's just add up how much sleep we got. So we'll put one more column, total, well, let's put hours slept. And what that's going to be is a formula, which is the light sleep plus the deep sleep. And we will then divide that by 60. So now that's the number of minutes, and then we'll divide that by 60 again. So that'll be the number of hours. And remembering to format this cell as a number. So 7.42 hours sounds about right. Let's fill that down, and we can see how many hours sleep I got each night. And then I just wanted to do the wake time as well. So we'll just sort of repeat what we did here. So wake up time. And let's go format that as a time. Let's turn it to text, fill that down. We didn't format the whole thing, so let's format all of these as time. That gives us the text. We copy that, paste special, paste values only, and now we have, let's just make sure that that's a time. So we got wake up time, how many hours slept. So if we got up early, if we got up later, what's that going to be? So now this gives us the ability to do some VLOOKUP stuff. So what I'm going to do here is, for each of these diary entries, we're going to look up how many hours sleep we got the night before. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do a VLOOKUP on this wake up date column, and then you can offset what you look at. Let's just sort of add in a few columns here. Insert 5 left, right. Now we're going to do a VLOOKUP, and then what does this take? This takes the search key, which is going to be, well, we need a date. So we sort of need to, we want to just go through that song and dance just one more. So we go insert one right, just the date. So if we format this number as a date, we turn that into text, we fill that down, we copy it, we paste the values only, and now we've got a nice clean date that we can use. And now we're just going to find out, let's start by finding out how many hours of sleep we got the night before. So night hours slept is going to be VLOOKUP. So the value we want, the search key, is our date. The range is going to be, well, we want to cover the date, but we also want to take anything else we're going to want to look up. So we might as well just drag that across. This is then going to be the index, which is, so this is index 1. So if we just wanted to look up the wake up date, we just go 1. But if we want the wake up time, if we want the hours slept, that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Well, it's going to be 2, 3, 4. So what did we say? Wake hours slept, 1, 2, 3. So we want a 3 in there. And don't be too scared of this, because I think we don't have, we didn't quite clean up the data, so we had some sleep dates that didn't exist. So here we go, hours slept. Let's just fill that down. So now for every one of these diary entries, we know how long we slept the night before. And then really, let's just let's grab a couple of other things. So wake up time and awakenings. So we just need like the same formula. Let's say wake up time and awakenings. So we want the same thing again, but this time we're going to go wake up time, I think was 2. Wake up time, 2. Yep, so you can see that's right. Tells us what time we woke up. and then the number of times we woke up is just going to be the same thing, and I think that was 4. Didn't wake up at all that night, and then here's all the other, it's how many times I woke up in the night, so just referring back to this, like here, woke up there at that time. So now we're nearly ready to start plotting some data, but what I want to do is have 3 different colors of data, depending on whether I was happy, unhappy, or neutral. So the way to do that is to let's add in 3 columns to the left of this. Insert 3 left. We're going to go unhappy, neutral, happy. Now, what we're going to end up wanting is actually like the time of day. That's how we're going to aggregate all this data. So it's sort of jumping ahead a little bit, but again, we're just going to go through this rigmarole. We just want the time, and like, bear with me. We're going to add another column. We're going to go the time. We're going to go equals to text. We're going to take the value. We're going to do that. We're going to fill it down. We're going to come back up to the top. We're going to select the column. We're going to edit. I can't remember how to do that. Edit, paste special, paste values only. Now we've got the time. Format that as a time just to make double sure. Fix this up again to be a date and time again so we don't get confused. Now we just want to know what time of day it was that we were happy, unhappy, or neutral. So if rating is less than 0, we're in the unhappy column, we want the time. Otherwise, we want nothing. Fill that down. Now we know we got X amount of sleep. Where's my hours slept? So I got 8 hours slept, and then at 6 o'clock I was unhappy. All right, you see where we're going with this? If we go if rating is 0, then we take the time. Otherwise, we take nothing. Fill that down. Command D. Now, if the rating is more than 0, we'll take the time. Otherwise, nothing. And then fill that down. Now, finally ready to make a graph. So, but before we do that, just one more step, and you can imagine how many times I went over this trying to figure this out. I want to start like sorting and filtering and messing around with this data a bit more, but what I want to do is just take just the stuff I'm interested in, the stuff that I'm pretty sure I'm going to want. Right, what are we going to want? We're going to want the time, we're going to want we'll put the rating in, we'll take we might as well keep the date, but we're going to grab this data, we're going to create a new spreadsheet. I'm going to call that combined for whatever reason. We're going to take some combined, we're going to edit, paste special, values only. Now we have a nice, strong, solid sheet that isn't doing any lookups, isn't doing any formulas, it's just like the plain data. And then we'll create a filter, and what we're going to do, first we're looking at hours slept, so let's just sort this by hours slept and then insert a chart. Oh look, that's how many hours I slept. But we want this to be a scatter chart, because we want to put hours slept by adding a series over here. We're going to go add series. Well, let's add date ranges. So I think we're going to add these 3. Okay. Look, what's this? It's kind of wrong. X-axis needs to be hours slept. Oh my god. So we do also need to make sure we've got our hours slept. Let's just like chuck everything in. Okay, so hours slept, and then the x-axis is going to be there. And let's chuck this on its own sheet. So this is how long I slept. Slept versus happiness. And this is where I start thinking, I'm not sure. So let's just try duplicating this. Let's just look at wake up time. So wake up time versus happiness. Edit chart. So instead of that, let's go wake up time. And then this, I can see a little bit more of a pattern here. So wake up time, let's just make sure that it knows that that's a wake up time, sorry. Format, number, time. Now let's have a look. Wake up time. So you can see from this data what time I usually get up, about 6:30. But you can also kind of see that, I don't know how much of a pattern there is. Maybe if we sorted out the color, we might be able to spot something. So we just go customize series. So let's just make sure that the unhappy stuff is, I guess, red. What color do we want? Maybe just bright red. Neutral, let's make that gray. And let's make happy a nice green. Yeah, still not sure. I'll just duplicate that on here. The reason to copy these was to not have to keep redoing this, but hey, you know, you can't have everything. So neutral, grey, happy, green. It's hard to tell. So we're just going to try one more chart. I would like to do an aggregated chart. Let's just round the hours slept and fill that down. And then if we do aggregate time and take these three, insert chart, and say that's not on there, that's the x-axis, and we want to aggregate. So now, and then let's make this a stacked thing. So maybe that looks like something. Let's just get the colors right. Unhappy, red, neutral, grey, happy, green. Put this on its own sheet. I mean, definitely less sleep seems to be having an effect there, doesn't it? But then 10 hours sleep I had. So that's interesting. Obviously, like, no sleep isn't help. But let's try like wake up time ranges. And this gets a bit complicated. So I'll show you what this formula is. Wake up time aggregated. See this function, it wants to be the hour of the wake up time, which is actually H2. It wants the minute of the wake up to, which is H2. And you see what we've done there is we're just like rounding it into groups so that we can aggregate the data, fill that down. So now if we take wake up time, unhappy, neutral, happy, we can insert a new chart and we can remove that from there, make that the x-axis and hit aggregate and make this a equally stacked. That's not the one. Make this. Stick that on its own sheet and we'll have a look. This is not in order, so let's just sort this by here. Wake up time. Let's have a look. So this is aggregated hours slept. And this is aggregated wake up time. So look, I mean, early mornings, maybe there are some more unhappies overall. And this is just like taking a percentage. So if I got up at 4:45, well, yeah, maybe I'm a bit grumpier or a bit more meh. But then the pattern doesn't see, I guess like this, there's more unhappies here, which doesn't make sense. I think it's just because there's more ratings maybe. And then we go to like 9, still can have a bad day even after tons of like lying in. But yeah, like my conclusion to all this is that unless I'm missing something here, we could just try one more thing. Let's just like filter it on starred is true. Have a look. Like this breaks it for some reason. I don't know what's going on with this. Like it puts the label in there, but I guess we can still see that the happies and the unhappies if we make the happy green. Like, I'm not sure there's a pattern here. So, you know, sometimes when you're doing science, it turns out that your theory wasn't correct, I guess. So what if I had a theory that more sleep made me happier, then this sort of disproves it. So maybe that's a good belief to adopt. Maybe, if it is 1 a.m. and I'm struggling to get to sleep, I can at least take comfort in the idea that it's not ultimately going to affect my happiness, which might make it easier to get to sleep. Anyway, look, I'm selling an app, but what I'm really doing is I'm trying to get more people interested in mood tracking, which is why I have made this book, this ebook that you can get for free to introduce you into happiness tracking. I would love it if you would come to my website, goodtohear.co.uk/free, and come and get a copy. I talk about why we don't really know what makes us happy, why our brains aren't built for the modern world, a bit about happiness, a bit about depression, a bit about how to measure happiness. I do mention my app. I would love it if you bought my app. That's really what all this is about, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But yeah, all you have to do is come to the website, sign up to the mailing list, and really just, get involved, because I think there's so much we can learn by looking at this happiness data. I just really think if you channel any other data through this metric of happiness, what could be more useful? Because whatever it is, we're trying to find happiness at the end of the day. So I hope you'll join me, and I'll see you next time for another one of these videos. Bye.